A 73-year-old woman in Lancaster County named Esther has grown from the same ground for 41 years. No hybrid seeds, no synthetic fertilizer. 7 vegetables, all named in the Bible, grown in one 4x4 bed. Her seed cost this season was 0. It has been 0 for 20 years. For 14 years, I planted what the rack at the hardware store told me to plant. Celebrity tomatoes, Better Boy. Same seeds every spring, same synthetic fertilizer on the label, same shrinking yields every fall. I thought the problem was my technique. It wasn't. The problem was the catalog. The products I kept buying came from 4 companies that now control more than 60% of the world's proprietary seeds. The plants I was growing were engineered to need those products every season. That is not a coincidence. It is the design.
There is a garlic preparation step that takes exactly 10 minutes. It determines whether you receive the compound linked to a 79% lower cancer risk, or whether it passes through you with no effect at all. And there is something your grandparents could buy at any grocery store that you cannot find in a single American chain supermarket today. Both of those things will make sense before you're done here. Esther moves through her garden every morning, one row at a time, slow and deliberate. Between her tomatoes, garlic, between her brassicas, chives. She doesn't have a pest program. She doesn't need one. She planted garlic between everything 41 years ago and never stopped. 5 says this plainly. We remember the fish we ate in Egypt that cost nothing, the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic. These are not random foods the Israelites missed. They are the specific plants that sustained people working in the hardest physical conditions on Earth.
Their bodies knew exactly what they were losing. The text preserved every name. Call this the compound garden. Each of these 7 plants contains active biological compounds, allicin, quercetin, phytosterols, cucurbitacins, flavonoids, that human bodies have used for thousands of years of continuous agriculture. They are not supplements, they are food. And the difference between that and what most Americans eat now is not a matter of opinion. It is a matter of what is still on the shelf. Think of the body like an engine built for specific fuel. It can run on other things. Certain parts only respond to certain compounds, though. These 7 plants carry the compounds that match. Every generation that ate them regularly ran the engine the way it was designed. What disrupted this was corporate seed consolidation. In the early 1980s, seed catalogs listed 5,000 different cultivars. Today, there are 500. After Monsanto acquired Seminis, 2,000 heirloom varieties were removed from commercial availability. Hybrid seeds produce higher short-term yields and uniform appearance. They cannot be saved. They are designed to require annual repurchase. The plants that replaced the biblical varieties were optimized for profit, not for the compound profile that made the originals worth growing. Crush 1 raw garlic clove right now. Set it on the counter. Do not cook it. Wait 10 minutes. Allicin, the compound documented at 79% lower colorectal cancer risk in a 2019 Asia-Pacific Journal of Clinical Oncology study, forms only through an enzymatic reaction triggered when the cell wall breaks. Heat destroys that enzyme instantly. If you have ever dropped raw garlic directly into a hot pan, the most important compound left the clove before it could finish forming. That is what the 10-minute wait is for. Smell the clove now. Add it after 10 minutes. That is step 1. The garlic in your kitchen right now is functional. It requires nothing new or expensive. It requires a 10-minute pause most people have never been told about. Most people have been losing the compound every meal for years without knowing it. What makes this worth continuing is not just the garlic. The other 6 plants follow the same pattern. Each one carrying something specific, each one prepared correctly or wasted entirely. What you just found with that garlic clove matters more than it first seems. The compound does not disappear during cooking. It never forms in the first place. Every meal where you added raw garlic immediately to heat was a meal with 0 allicin, not less, none. The Asia-Pacific Journal of Clinical Oncology published a 2019 study tracking allium vegetable consumption across a large adult population. Adults who consumed high amounts of garlic, leeks, and onions showed a 79% lower risk of colorectal cancer than those who consumed low amounts. 79% is not a marginal finding. It is the strongest specific cancer risk number available for any single food group. The plants responsible cost 50 cents per serving at any grocery store. In Lancaster County, the Zook family has grown open-pollinated allium varieties since 1903. The same garlic strain, saved every fall, replanted every season for over 120 years. Their seed cost is zero. Their garlic has adapted to their specific soil and their specific climate across 5 generations. Commercial garlic purchased annually cannot do that. It is optimized for a warehouse in California, not a raised bed in Pennsylvania. Deuteronomy 8:8 describes the land God prepared for his people. A land of wheat and barley, of vines and fig trees and pomegranates, a land of olive oil and honey. The specificity matters. God named exact species for exact purposes. When the 2025 U.S. Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee finally recommended eating more beans, peas, and lentils instead of red meat, they confirmed what Deuteronomy described 3,000 years earlier. God said it. The Zooks practiced it. Science measured it. Same result. Go to your pantry right now. Find any vegetable seed packet. Look for the words open pollinated or heirloom anywhere on the label. If those words are not there, that seed will not reproduce true. You cannot save it. You must buy it again next spring. The biblical farmer owned his seed in perpetuity. That is what was taken. What you find in your pantry right now tells you exactly which system you are currently in. Buy 1 pound of dried lentils this week. Lentils contain phytosterols, the same compound class as cholesterol-lowering pharmaceutical drugs, at $1.50 per pound from any bulk aisle. Soak them 4 to 8 hours before cooking. Discard the soaking water. Cook in fresh water with olive oil, garlic rested 10 minutes, and lemon. 20 minutes total. That is 1 meal per week replaced with a food that has been in the biblical record since Genesis 25:34, when Jacob made his red stew. Most people who start this stop at 2 plants. They add garlic and lentils and consider the job done. The reason it doesn't fully work that way is the bitter herb. That one is the most misunderstood preparation on the entire list. Esther's neighbor in Lancaster County, 68 years old, farms half an acre, decided 3 years ago to restore all 7 biblical plants to her diet. She started with garlic and lentils. 2 months later, she added leeks, then onions. The bitter herbs came last. She told me the first time she ate dandelion greens prepared correctly, she did not recognize them as the same plant she had been pulling from her lawn for 40 years. The bitter herbs are the most commercially displaced plant on this list. Exodus 12:8 records the maror, the bitter herbs eaten at Passover, chicory, dandelion greens, endive. Every commercial salad mix has had the bitterness bred out over decades for palatability. That bitterness is the flavonoid compound. The more bitter, the more bioactive. The commercial product is designed for the palate. The biblical plant was designed for the body. Those are not the same design. Nutritional content of commercial vegetables has declined 5 to 40% since 1950, according to USDA data from Davis 2004. The variety loss from 5,000 cultivars to 500 is not incidental to that decline. It is the cause. Eat 1 raw leaf of dandelion green or chicory right now without dressing. That bitterness is the flavonoid. The more pronounced it is, the higher the bioactive concentration. If it tastes mild or sweet, bitterness was bred out, and you are holding a compromised plant. Wild dandelion from an unsprayed yard is more potent than anything in a plastic bag at the grocery store. Bitterness is not the flaw. It is the signal. Here's the full picture. Every morning this week, crush 1 garlic clove and wait 10 minutes before using it. 1 dinner per week, make lentils your protein. 1 cup dried, soaked 4 hours, cooked in fresh water with olive oil, garlic rested 10 minutes, and lemon 20 minutes total. Buy 1 bunch of leeks and use them wherever you would have used onions. Add 1 bitter green leaf to whatever salad you already eat. 1 leaf, increasing the ratio each week as your palate adjusts. Blanching bitter greens for 90 seconds in salted boiling water reduces bitterness by 60 to 70% without destroying the flavonoids. In 10 minutes, the Allicin reaction is running on a clove on your counter. Tomorrow morning, your digestion after tonight's dinner will feel different. In 7 days, you have made 1 lentil meal. In 30 days, you have replaced 1 processed protein night per week with a food the USDA's own advisory committee recommended in 2024. In 1 full season of growing, you order 1 packet of open pollinated garlic from Seed Savers Exchange, $3. Planted in fall, harvested in summer, save it. That seed never needs to be purchased again. If your lentils cause bloating, you did not soak long enough or did not discard the soaking water. Start with red lentils, lowest lectin content, and move to green and black over time. If your family rejects bitter greens, you introduce too much too fast. 20% bitter, 80% familiar. Increase 10% each week. If your garlic spray burns plant leaves, you applied it in midday sun. Morning or evening only, 1 tablespoon of garlic oil per quart of water. Test on 1 leaf first and wait 24 hours. The Zook family's garlic strain is 120 years old, never purchased, never depleted. That is what open pollinated seed does over generations. It gets more specifically yours. The average American gardener spends $70 to $200 on commercial seeds every year, plus synthetic fertilizer, plus pesticides, and cannot reproduce a single plant from what they grew last season. The Zook family has spent nothing on seed in 120 years. Their varieties strengthen every generation. Their soil gets richer every season. One system costs money every year and gets worse. The other cost something once and has been returning value ever since. Crush garlic and wait 10 minutes. Make 1 lentil meal per week. Use leeks where you'd use onions. Add 1 bitter leaf. Order 1 packet of open pollinated seed before this season ends. Those 5 changes, made consistently, restore what was present in Numbers 11. The science confirms everyone. The Amish have demonstrated all of them for generations without calling any of it a protocol. They called it eating. Deuteronomy 8:8 describes the land God prepared as specific and intentional. The plants were placed there on purpose. The design was not accidental. What 4 corporations managed in 40 years, displacing 4,500 cultivars, making heirloom varieties nearly impossible to find, replacing them with hybrids requiring annual purchase, is the most complete disruption of that design in recorded history. The question is not whether the original design worked, it is whether you choose it. In the next hour, do this. Find a garlic bulb in your kitchen, crush 1 clove, and set it on the counter. Do not touch it for 10 minutes. Tonight, pull out any seed packet in your house and look for the words open pollinated or heirloom. If those words are not there, write down the variety name. That is the list you replace with heirloom seed next season. Tomorrow morning, buy 1 pound of dried lentils. Your 1 goal this week, make 1 lentil meal. Lentils, olive oil, garlic rested 10 minutes, lemon. That is the whole recipe. See how you feel the next morning. And the one thing not to do right now, substitute garlic powder. Allicin requires a living cell being physically crushed. Powder is processed at temperatures that destroy the enzyme before it forms. Whole cloves, always. If this is the kind of proven system you've been looking for, subscribe to Biblical Harvest. Drop your age below if you've been gardening for over 10 years. I read every comment. Esther in Lancaster County, 41 years, same bed, same seed. 7 plants named in Numbers 11. Her seed cost is 0. Her system gets stronger every season. You know how now. The plants were never the problem. The catalog was.